BBM, we finesse your finance. Sit down, cause your money's got no bands. Be careful when you're out chasing that paper. Come to us and we'll make your money safer. Yo, we give that knowledge and advice. Financial solutions to make you feel nice. Reduce your mistakes and your risk. This is something that you don't wanna miss.
And the next thing I wanted to kind of go into, because we've already gone over an hour, which always happens when we're all chatting about this. Like every time I've done, I think for the three of you that I've done the IG live for, I know it got to the hour and we started like, oh my gosh, okay, we've got 30 seconds left to say bye, and then that was it. So this always happens. But yeah, I just want to talk about 2021 now. We talked about 2020. We know how that was. What are some of you guys' personal goals for 2021?
Growth, man. I'm trying to grow my brand as big as it can be. You know, like I actually only started CK Talks Money in October, and I was actually meant to start it in March, but it's like you said, I had an idea and I didn't even do the whole, let me put it on Company's House. I just spent so much time overthinking it, you know what I mean? And then when I finally started it, I realized, you know what, I can do a lot of this. And this is why, you know, there's certain things that people say, but it's only when you experience it, you get it. When people say, you know what, you can actually achieve anything you put your mind to. So I thought, I've actually started doing this now, and I've picked up a lot of, you know, I've kind of hit the ground running, I'm moving with it. But for me, for this year, I'm just trying to keep momentum and stay consistent, you know, and a big part of that consistency is, like Michael was saying earlier, staying in my lane. Because I think someone also said earlier that you're kind of looking at other people's posts and you're saying, oh, look, my man's done this. Oh, like maybe if I did that. But I'm just trying to always remember that where I am, I got there doing what I planned to do, not what that other person planned to do. And that's my own level of consistency. So that's my goal, man. Grow my brand, stay consistent, and stay in my lane. That's my those are my main goals for 2021.
I think I hear what you're saying about growing and scaling and stuff. I mean, last year was a good year for me in terms of clients. I thought that because of this whole stuff with regards to the pandemic and everything, people be like, oh, I've got no money. But no, money hasn't disappeared. It's just somewhere else. It's just in other people's pockets. So, and luckily I was part of that pie, you know, so for me, in my mind, even though I love the one-to-one client work, I mean, I really want to achieve that sort of more predictable, systematic sort of approach when it comes to my business, because I'm not trying to work in it forever. I mean, obviously it takes time to build a solid business based on the foundation that Michael was talking about. But now, like in my head, I've done what I needed to do last year. I'm starting from ground zero. I know what works. I know what doesn't work. I don't want to get lured into this whole idea of, oh, I know I can make quick money this way, so let me keep on doing more of this. No, I want to actually, I don't mind experimenting and testing just to really see what works and then just go with that and just go with that trajectory. So for me, it's just having more of a systematic approach. And what that really looks like is more sort of online programs, more courses, just making myself more available that way, and just continuing to stay in my lane. Because if I'm honest with you, I don't really care what anyone else is doing. I mean, I'm happy to say no. If it doesn't really align to what I'm trying to do, I'm not going to do it. It's that simple. And I'm not afraid to say no. I mean, people know I have this very, I don't know what the word is, but just I don't care sort of attitude. I'll do what I want to do, you know, and I'm happy to do that. I mean, my industry is a weird one because it doesn't necessarily always seem tangible, but if you connect with it, you can really transform someone's life, so to speak. And so it's really sort of like crafting and mastering and positioning myself in the market and just staying in my lane. And I find when I do that, I mean, it just works out for me more. But when I start looking at people, I will never prosper. I just will never prosper. That's just what I've told myself.
When you say stay in your lane, what does that mean? Because I don't think there's anything wrong with taking inspiration from another person. You know, I put content out to inspire people, to move people to action. I my posts are intentional. I want you to be inspired by what I say. So what does that mean to you, staying in your lane?
I mean, it's like you almost read my mind. But I mean, not getting swayed by what the mass populace are doing, or not getting swayed because, oh, this is how it's supposed to be done. Like in my mind, and this is, it may sound controversial to some people, but whatever. There are no real rules in life. No real rule. There are rules, but there are no real rules in life, so to speak. I mean, everyone follows their own set. Whether you make the right decisions or wrong decisions, that's dependent upon your goals, your values, X, Y, and Z. So it really is about being as integral and as authentic to myself as possible. I can get inspiration from people. That's different because I'm coming from a different mindset. I can definitely learn from other people, but I shouldn't let that sway me into a different sort of like negative state, which is what I experienced last year for the first time ever. Never experienced that before. So I wouldn't necessarily be saying this, but now I'm just like, okay, I know that can happen. I need to make sure that I protect myself. So I'm focused on the goal. Mm-hmm. So hopefully that explains it.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of, yes, sir.
Sorry,
yeah, just to kind of echo what Michael said as well. I hit the exact same state, and I feel as if the whole stay in your lane thing. I feel like it's not saying don't try other things, don't branch out and try different techniques. I'm all for that, but for me, it more comes into play whereby you looking at what other people are doing is now affecting your progress. Maybe you started off a certain way and you said, you know what, this is my model, this is what I want to achieve. And how people talk about knowing your why. But sometimes if you look at other people and you spend too much time focusing on them, you even forget your why. You forget the goal that you said you were even going to reach because you're too busy looking over there. So when I say stay in my lane, that's kind of what I mean as well.
In terms of goals for this year for me, I kind of want to continue on what you said, Michael. It's going to be for me around positioning myself, continuing to build my personal brand, but also from a financial perspective, I'm trying to triple what I made last year, pretty much within the first quarter. So that's the goal that I'm really pushing heavily towards, and particularly because when I've been doing a lot of kind of follow-ups with clients that I was working with in 2018, 2019, and seeing kind of how the work that I did with them has helped their businesses to grow. And my clients are achieving some major significant growth, making a lot of money, and saying, and quite emphatically, it's because of what you told us to do. So I'm saying, if you're over there making these 6 figures, 7 figures, I need to hurry up and get some of that too, because clearly what I'm saying works. So I need to implement it for myself. So that's really what the focus is, particularly in terms of, again, programs, courses. I know that the methods that I implement work because I've proven. I think what's really important for me, and again, another highlight, going back to the highlights, for me is that I work a lot in the background. So I help people and I do this and these things happen, but I don't necessarily shout about it as much. And I know it's an issue of something that I'm working through, not feeling like I'm over promoting myself, which is a stupid thing to say generally, but I think we all at some point have probably encountered some level of imposter syndrome or that kind of thing. But it's something that I'm facing head on this year. And actually, if you want to make the kind of money that you want to make, if you want to make the impact to the level that you want to make that impact, you can't be standing in the corner hiding anymore. So if you're on my social media, you're going to see a lot of me shouting, I'm the boss, and this is these are the boss moves that I'm making and have made. So that's my plan for 2021.
I love that.
I love that. For me, it's about balance this year. Like I need to show up in all areas of life, in my health, spiritually, in my lifestyle. I want to get married too, but if I'm working 13, 14 hours, listen, who's gonna want to marry me? No, joking. But like, I think it's important for me to show up in all areas. Like, if I reflect, I know we're moving forward, but like, there were times where I was vexed. Like, I had to go food shopping, like, because I just wanted to stay at my desk and make money pretty much, but I'm not going to let that dominate. Making money is important. Yes, we need to live, we need to eat, like we need to make major moves in our business. But at the same time, I've got other goals. It's not just around money for me. So getting that balance in as well, because I'm a reflector. Like there were certain goals I had on my list, I didn't achieve them, and I took full responsibility for it. And it was because I didn't, the effort I put in my business, the wonder why it boomed so quickly was because of the time I was putting in. But other goals took a hit. So none of that this year. So creating structure, and how I can serve more people without so much effort as well. Like, because it can be draining, and I don't want to burn out, because that's not good for me or my clients. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah, do you know what? I just want to co-sign a lot of what you said there, Roneish, because I think the balance thing is interesting. I'm a massive fan of setting goals that go into various parts of life. And so I'll be honest, I don't really set health goals per se anymore, just because I feel like health to me is a lifestyle. However, when I look at other areas of life, and then coming back to say the thing that most of us are talking about, which might be business, finance, career related, I look at even like relationships. I kind of alluded to it earlier, but I definitely think a goal of mine this year is to be more intentional with how I spend time with my parents, going like, you know, going and seeing them, going to see my sister, go just like things like that. Or I actually had a really, really eye-opening conversation with my girlfriend last week about like how my what I think is support and celebration of her growth as a person, but I'm not always as emotionally present as she might need me in certain situations, which was so eye-opening, draining for me, because I love getting feedback, but it was like, raw, like, so there were times I was missing like major things without even realizing. And that for me is now a goal, in it is how do I ensure that when I get an inkling that something may be slightly off or different, that I don't just go, oh yeah, let me just give her a space, but actually, you know, lean in further there, Lewis. I explore that, help to really be a support mechanism in the moment. So I have goals around that for sure, as it relates to relationships, both with her as well as with family and things like that. And then I think from a business standpoint, it's interesting because similar to what some people have said, last year was a very good financial year for me. I'll be 100% honest. Like, we did a lot of business, took on more clients than before. And if I'm being honest, last year, December was the first time I sat down, and before the year started, it was so clear to me how much business we were going to do in 2021. Even though I've not had a job for 5 years and I've been in business, I've still not experienced that true comfort and stability, if you get what I'm saying. Whereas this time I sat down in December like, oh, so I'm seeing 6 figures before the year starts. Like, as in, I'm seeing how clear that's good. Like, that was weird. That was like, so, but my mind didn't go to the money. My mind immediately went to, oh, I can provide jobs. Oh, I can put money in someone's account and they can pay their rent and mortgage. And I was like, yo, that's the goal this year. So I said to myself, I want to try and create 3 jobs minimum in regards to business this year. That's a really big thing for me. And one of those, it's going to sound funny, but one of them is like, and Michael knows him, but one of my little cousins he's had a very interesting time since ending school and going into college, and he's not really been getting his head down how he should. And I finally decided that even though I gave him paid work experience in 2019 summer, and he was late every single day, and I still paid him. I don't know why I paid him when he was late every single day. But anyway, even though he hasn't necessarily shown the level of commitment, I said to myself, do you know what? Maybe if I give him a job, this might be the thing that helps him to be more focused. So I still made him apply. I still made him send me a whole CV cover letter. I said to him, yeah, you got to do an interview. He came onto the interview on Zoom in a shirt and that on Friday. I was like, well done, which is not no joke thing. But then I told him straight, if you're successful, these days I'm acting to him like there's other applicants. There's no other applicants. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, from the other people that I'm reviewing the opportunity with, you know, we'll see. But I told him, if you're successful, bro, I need to see 95% minimum attendance at college. I need to know all your coursework is done on time. I need to know you're washing the dishes in your house. If those things don't happen, there's no job. Do you get me? But little things like that, just to be in a position where, even though it's going to be a part-time thing for him, it's only going to be like 8 hours a week. It's not going to be that deep. Just to know that I can do that is a really big thing. So for me, that's a big part of the goal. And then the other thing, bringing it to something that Mike would want to hear, definitely, and actually all of you, because you lot are financial people in many ways, but is extracurricular plate washing's real, fam. If man find out that he hasn't washed the dishes, you think you're getting paid this month? I don't want to hear it, fam. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't want to hear it, bruv. Yeah, man's docking your pay, boy. That's part of the job. But anyway, the other thing is like, so I put aside a very large, not large, but I mean, what is large? But I put aside a good amount of money last year to say I'm going to buy a house. Then 2020 happened, and I went into my zone of just crack on. And I looked at it and I thought, fam, that money did nothing for me. I didn't put that money to work, fam. Like, I've got certain investments, like in different things, stocks, crypto, but I could have used so much more of that to make that money work for me. and I didn't. So I think this year as well, as much as I still have every intention of buying a house, which I know I will do, I need to ensure that I'm doing even more to put my money into other investments, because I kind of let last year slip. And the funny thing is, I had to run a course in Success Through Soccer, and in the week on money, I was suggesting it to all the people on my course. People are tripling their money with suggestions that I was making. Do you think I invested in anything they invested in? So I'm literally getting them sending me screenshots even now, like, oh my God, dude, thank you so much. Like, look at my investments. And I'm sitting there like, fam, what's my thing doing in that savings account, fam? Like, getting me what, 30p a month and that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, these times, the amount that I could have put in is a lot more than yours. So my thing, do you get what I'm saying? So that for me is another big thing this year. Do you get me? So yeah.
Yeah, that's real. That's real, man. I think for me, for 2021 and for the future is, like I said, 2020 was building that foundation, thinking about longevity. That doesn't just disappear. For me, I'm all about the long game. So as much as it is nice for me to think, okay, I want to triple my money, quadruple my money. I want to be on this amount by the end of 2021. That's not actually my goal. The goal is still the 10-year plan, the 20-year plan. Now, I've already set my time for myself where I want to retire. I've already got a kind of plan in my head to say, do you know what, when it's time for me to have kids and stuff like that, I don't want to be in a position where I need to bring up my kids, but I need to be work as well. There's all these things. So for now, it's still, last year built the foundation, built the let's say ground zero. Now it's about level 1 and level 2 and everything like that. So build something that's so structurally balanced and in place that by the time I get to that age that I want to get to, I don't like saying age, get to the place where I want to get to, where I can say, I can step back now, everything's in place. That's the kind of what I want to kind of do in 2021.
KBM, we finesse your finance. Sit down, cause your money's got no bands. Be careful when you're out chasing that paper. Come to us, that will make your money safer. Yo, we give that knowledge and advice. Financial solutions to make you feel nice. Reduce your mistakes and your risk. This is